All right, so you're a real estate agent and you want to save like 10 plus hours a week, which I think is a pretty common goal, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you've brought us all these resources to help us figure out how we can do that. So we have these articles on different tools lists, like top agent systems, and even some personal productivity tips. So I guess the question is, what are those systems that those top producing agents are using to free up, that much time?
Yeah, well, I think before we even get into the systems themselves, there's this idea that kind of runs throughout all of these sources, which is this concept of like a productivity drain of common tasks in real estate.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like you're always battling this invisible force that's just sucking away all your time.
Exactly. And it takes so many different forms. Like, think about, endlessly scrolling through social media, the client who wants to see like every listing in town, or just the never-ending mountain of paperwork.
Ugh, you're making me stressed just describing it. But the thing is, like, how do those top agents escape this vortex of tasks that are just wasting their time?
That's where these systems come in. And one that caught my eye that seems to cover a lot of bases is this thing called LesixPro.
Okay, LesixPro. Now, this one is marketed as a real all-in-one solution.
Yeah, that's the idea. And for a pretty reasonable price, too, only $97 a month. It brings together tools for your marketing, your CRM, and even transaction management. And the thinking is that, you're not constantly jumping between different programs, which, let's face it, can really eat into your day.
Yeah, and it says here that it has an AI-powered content marketing feature, which is pretty cool. I mean, imagine having content created for you, like, automatically, while you're out showing properties or, actually living your life.
Yeah, that's definitely the appeal of these all-in-one platforms. They promise to take care of a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but I think it's important to remember that they're not a magic bullet. They still require you to set them up, properly manage them, and actually make sure that your workflow aligns with the platform.
All right, you can't just sign up for something and expect all your time management problems to vanish overnight. You still need to be smart about how you use it.
Exactly. And this actually points to a bigger theme I've noticed in these sources. Understanding your specific needs and how you work is so important before you jump into any new system.
So it's not just about chasing after the shiniest new tool. It's about finding the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And speaking of the right tool for the job, one system that kept popping up in these resources as a real time saver is ShowingTime.
Okay, ShowingTime. And this is specifically for managing showings, which, if you're not careful, can become a huge time suck.
Oh, absolutely. All those back and forth phone calls trying to coordinate with everyone, dealing with last minute changes, it can be a real drain.
I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. So how does ShowingTime help with this particular time suck?
Well, it automates a lot of those tedious tasks like scheduling notifications, collecting feedback. It even syncs up with your calendar. It basically takes over all that administrative stuff so you can focus on higher value activities.
So you're not just saving time, you're freeing up mental energy too, which is huge.
Exactly. And it goes back to that idea of the productivity drain we talked about. By automating these routine tasks, you're not just saving hours in your day, you're creating space for more focused work and strategic thinking.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not just about these individual tools, it's about building a system that takes care of these time-consuming tasks so you can focus on what really matters.
Exactly. And speaking of systems, another key strategy that these sources highlight...
Wait, hold on. I think this is a good place to take a pause. We've laid some excellent groundwork here, and I'm really excited to hear about what other systems those top agents are using.
Yeah, I agree. Let's pick up right here next time and dive into those strategies.
So we were talking about these systems that top agents use to get back, 10 plus hours a week. And another strategy that comes up a lot in these articles is automation.
Right.
Automation. That's like the holy grail of time management, right? I'm really interested in how you can use it for things like social media marketing and lead generation, because those can be such time sucks if you're not careful.
Totally. And our sources actually give some really good examples of how to use automation effectively. So let's take social media, for example. It's a great way to market yourself, but it can also be really time-consuming. Tools like MeetEdgar can really help with that. It can automatically share your content across different platforms based on a schedule you set.
So you don't have to keep logging in and out of different accounts all the time to try and stay on top of posting. But how does MeetEdgar handle the fact that each platform is different? I mean, what works on Instagram might not work on LinkedIn,
That's a great point. And it really highlights the importance of picking the right tool for the job. MeetEdgar actually lets you tailor your posts for each platform, so you can make sure your content resonates with the right people. It's not just about blasting the same message everywhere.
Makes sense. It's all about working smarter, not harder. So besides social media, what other areas can we automate?
Lead generation is another big one. Think about it. Traditionally, qualifying leads involved a lot of manual work, like phone calls, emails, follow-ups. But tools like Structurally are using AI to change that. They can actually interact with potential clients and nurture those leads even when you're not around.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a virtual assistant working for you 24/7. But I'm guessing these AI tools aren't cheap, are they?
You're right, the cost can vary, and you have to weigh that cost against the potential benefits. But when you think about how valuable your time is and how much these tools can increase your lead conversion, it might be worth the investment in the long run.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not just about saving time. It's about using technology to do things that you couldn't do on your own. But we can't forget about the human element here. We still need systems to manage our client relationships, right?
Absolutely. And that's where a good CRM system comes in. These sources mention a few top-rated CRM options that are popular with top-producing agents. One is SalesMate CRM. It helps you manage your contacts, automate tasks, and streamline your sales pipeline.
So it's more than just a place to store contact information. It's about actively managing those relationships and moving them towards a close. I can see how that would save a lot of time.
Exactly. And for agents who are really into Zillow, there's Zillow Premier Agent CRM. It's free, and it has a really user-friendly mobile app, so you can manage your leads and contacts even when you're on the go.
That's perfect for agents who are always out showing properties or meeting clients. Convenience is key.
Right. And if you want something even more comprehensive, there's HubSpot CRM. It has a bunch of free tools, and you can upgrade to paid plans for more advanced features. It's a great option if you want a CRM that can grow with your business.
Yeah, so many choices. It's kind of overwhelming. How do you even choose the right CRM?
It can definitely feel that way. But remember what we said before, the best system is the one that fits your specific way of working. Don't just go for the latest and greatest. Find the CRM that meets your needs and your budget.
Okay, so we've got tools for automation CRM, and of course ShowingTime for showings. What else are these top agents using to free up their time?
Besides specific tools, these sources emphasize having strong systems for managing transactions and your day-to-day tasks.
Right, because even with automation, there's still things you have to handle personally.
Yeah.
And staying organized is so important for making the most of your time.
Exactly. One of the sources recommends Dotloop for transaction management. It's a platform that handles e-signatures and document tracking, so it streamlines the whole process and makes it more efficient and transparent.
No more chasing down signatures or trying to find lost documents. That's definitely a time saver. What about managing all those everyday tasks? You know, those to-do lists that never seem to end?
A lot of agents seem to love Trello for that. It's a visual platform where you can create boards, lists, and cards to track your progress. And it has a free plan, which is always nice.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Trello. It seems really versatile. You can use it for personal tasks, team projects, even content planning. Are there any other task management tools worth looking at?
Another popular option is Monday.com. It's a bit more robust. It's good for teams who need more features like Gantt charts and time tracking.
So there's something for everyone. What I'm seeing here is that it's not just about the individual tools, it's about how they work together as a system to help you manage your whole business. Is that right?
You got it. It's about creating a workflow that supports your goals and helps you work as efficiently as possible. And speaking of workflow, communication and collaboration are essential parts of any good system.
Oh, for sure. Especially in real estate where you're always talking to clients, colleagues, and other professionals. So what are these top agents using to streamline their communication and keep everyone in the loop?
Two tools that come up a lot are Slack and Google Drive. Slack is a messaging platform that's great for team communication, sharing files, and even integrating with other tools. It's like a central hub for all your work conversations.
I've used Slack before, and I love how it gets rid of those endless email chains. It keeps everything organized and easy to find. And of course, Google Drive is a must-have for cloud storage and collaboration. It's hard to imagine working without it these days.
Right. It's about using tools that make it easier to connect with your team and your clients, share information smoothly, and work together effectively. But let's not forget that even with the best tools and systems, there's one crucial element that you can't automate, and that's your own personal productivity habits.
I was just thinking about that. It's great to have these awesome systems, but if you're not disciplined and focused, they're not going to do much good, are they?
You're absolutely right. Having the right systems is crucial, but these sources also emphasize personal productivity strategies. Even with all the automation in the world, you still need to be intentional about how you manage your time and energy. You're the one in control, not the tools.
So what are some of those key strategies for staying focused and productive? In a field that can be, well, pretty chaotic. Real estate is so fast-paced and unpredictable, it's easy to get swept up in all the activity.
It definitely is. And that's why having a structured routine is so important. One technique that one of the sources talks about is the 15-10-5 rule for structuring your day. It's really simple, but it works.
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me more about this 15-10-5 rule.
It's about spending 15 minutes each day learning something new, 10 minutes checking in with your clients, and 5 minutes reflecting on your progress and setting intentions for the day.
I love that. It combines professional development with building client relationships. And that 5 minutes of reflection, I think that's something we could all use. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of how you spend your time and making sure you're prioritizing the right things. Another technique that comes up a lot is the Pomodoro technique.
Oh yeah, the Pomodoro technique. I've heard of that one. It's all about working in focused bursts. Right?
Exactly. You work for 25 minutes and then take a short break. This helps you stay focused and prevents burnout, especially when you're working on big, challenging tasks.
You know, I think we could probably use a Pomodoro break right about now. We've covered so much in this deep dive. But before we do that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how these personal productivity techniques connect to the bigger picture of building a system that saves you time.
That's a great question, and it's something that these sources really emphasize. The right tools and systems can definitely streamline your work and automate tasks, but ultimately it's your own focus and discipline that determine how effective they are.
So it's not about becoming a slave to technology. It's about using technology to support your goals and your work style.
Exactly. And this leads to a really important question that you need to ask yourself. If you're trying to get back those 10+ hours a week, what's the biggest time waster for you right now? Is it social media, showings, admin tasks? Once you figure out what that big of time suck is, you can start exploring the tools and strategies we've talked about to tackle it.
That's a great point. It's about being strategic and focusing your efforts where they'll have the biggest impact.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small, experiment, and gradually build a system that works for you. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a super efficient real estate business.
That's a good reminder. It's a journey, not a destination. We've covered a lot of ground today, but I'm sure there's still more to explore.
Absolutely. The world of real estate technology and productivity is always changing, but what we've talked about today gives you a solid foundation to build a system that can help you get back those 10+ hours a week.
Okay, before we get too carried away, I think this is a good place to pause for now. We've gone over a lot of valuable information, and I want our listeners to have time to absorb it all.
Sounds good. Let's wrap up this part of our deep dive, and we'll come back next time with some final thoughts and takeaways.
All right, we're back, and we've covered a ton of stuff in this deep dive. I mean, all kinds of tools and strategies that top agents use to, save 10+ hours a week. And I got to say, I'm feeling pretty inspired to put some of this into practice myself.
That's great to hear. And it really shows that these systems are not just, some abstract idea. They're actually practical solutions that can make a real difference for agents in their daily work.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways that our listeners should remember as they try to become more efficient?
I think one of the most important things is to remember there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Building a system that saves you 10+ hours a week is about finding the right combination of tools, strategies, and habits that work for you, for your own specific needs, preferences, and work style.
It's about creating a personalized system that lets you work smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly. And that starts with figuring out what your biggest pain points are. Where are you losing the most time? Once you know that, you can start exploring those tools and techniques we've talked about to address those specific areas.
So it's about being strategic and targeted. Don't try to change everything at once. Start with small changes and build up your system over time.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment. What works for one person might not work for another. The key is to find what works for you and helps you reach your goals.
It's funny. We started this deep dive talking about time sucks.
Yeah.
And now I actually feel energized and optimistic about getting my time back. It's not about working less. It's about working smarter and freeing up time for the things that really matter.
That's the power of knowledge and a well-designed system. It gives you back control of your time and lets you focus on the things that bring you fulfillment and success.
So for our listeners who are excited to take action and start using these ideas, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
Start today. Even if it's just 15 minutes to research a new tool or try out a productivity technique. Just take that first step. Remember, small changes can make a big difference over time.
That's great advice. It's all about taking action and building momentum. And remember, this is just the beginning of your journey to becoming more efficient and successful. There are so many resources and support systems out there to help you along the way.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask other agents for advice. Go to industry events and keep learning and growing. The more you invest in your own productivity, the more you'll be able to achieve both personally and professionally.
Well said. This has been an amazing deep dive. And I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what's possible when it comes to real estate productivity.
I agree. But we've laid a solid foundation, and I'm confident that our listeners are now well equipped to create a system that will help them reclaim those precious hours and achieve their goals.
And that's it for today's deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring these time-saving systems for real estate agents. Remember, you have the power to create a workflow that supports your success and lets you thrive in this dynamic and rewarding industry.
Happy automating.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.